Hi, I'm Scott. I'm a Quiet Place fan.
Hi, I'm Senthil, and I'm a Bird Box fan.
So the two of us have decided, since we disagree, we're going to start watching as many horror movies as we can and come up with a new way of rate them. Come join us.
Hey Scott, welcome back to another recording offline.
Hey, Synthel, how are you?
Fantastic. We've got a interesting movie first to talk about here. It's a Japanese movie called One Cut of the Dead, and literally the Japanese name for the movie translates to "Don't Stop the Camera." And the concept behind it is, we'll talk about in a second. It was a low budget movie. It's the equivalent of $25,000. It was made. It's actually films and plays like a very, very indie amateur movie. However, what's really fascinating about this is that globally, this $25,000 budgeted horror comedy movie made $31 million.
Yeah.
So what do you make of that? Let's start there. I mean, I know your opinion of the movie is, but what do you make of this $25,000 movie rolling in $30 million?
So I have to tell you, I'm amazed by that because I detested this movie on so many levels. So I had to force myself to sit through this thing because in about 15 minutes of it, I was sick of this film. I mean, I was sick of it. The fact that it went on to make that much money is just a testament to directors out there. It's about finding the audience, and this obviously found an audience that liked it. I was unfortunately not that audience that enjoyed this film in any way, shape, or form. But that being said, it's impressive to me that, and was that 23,000 American dollars, or was that
25,000 American conversion?
Okay, again, impressive as hell, and that they pulled this off. I don't know how they did it. I'm kind of baffled.
Yeah, it's the for our viewers, the basic plot behind this is that it's a very low budget movie makers who are filming in a warehouse, and it's so low budget that the sound, they're in this warehouse, you can hear the sound echoing all through in the process of filming, you hear the sound echoing all through. You can see the effects are very, very low budget, and in the process of filming this low budget horror movie, they get attacked by real zombies. So you figure out that the first part of the movie is a movie that this movie is about. So the movie is about filmmakers making a movie. You see the movie they've made, and then you backtrack into how they made it effectively, that they're engaged by a film studio to do a one-shot take horror movie. And so the second half of it is how they filmed it. And it's the most ridiculous, I thought, over-the-top comedy that you could possibly come up with. And that's the aspect of it I liked. It was ridiculous. It was stupid. I thought it was funny.
Well, Synthel, here was the problem with it. And you and I have talked about this before. Horror, there's these two types of kind of low budget that we're seeing, right? Comedy horror and horror that takes itself seriously, right? And you either can pull it off or you can't. Now, we've watched some, I'm going to say Killer Sofa, Jesus Christ Vampire Hunter, Velocipaster, totally over here, horror comedy, Killer Breasts, Greasy Strangler, knew it was bad and played into it. Whether it was lost in translation to me or not, I don't know, maybe it was. They were playing this to the point of such absurdity that like I said, half an hour into it, if I heard one more high-pitched scream, wail, cry, I was ready to throw something at the television set. I actually shut the sound off at one point just because I was so sick of it. I thought the acting was so over the top that it was over the top, right? So, I mean, you get to a point where you go, now you're just trying to be, over the top. And trying to explain that and to define that to people. Okay, so the concept of this, this movie concept was brilliant, Synthel. You're filming a low budget zombie film and suddenly you're attacked by real zombies. And the director realizes, holy crap, I can make a movie off of this because I'm just going to keep having my act, and so if people die, great, it's real, let's film it. It's so over the top bad. The director is such an a-hole that it's not even a comedic anymore. He's just an asshole. So I don't know, man. I really had to force myself through this one. And how it became and made as much money as it did, when you have things like Train to Busan, which, yes, I know are higher things, the host out of Korea, which I just absolutely love that movie. And then movies like this come out, you just look at it and you go, the F, man, what?
And what's the twist on what you described is that the movie is about the film crew making that movie.
Yes.
And so they try to be, layer how complex and clever it is. And it's this is something that I know what the approach they're trying to take. And yeah, the female actress, one of them, the primary leads in the movie, very high pitched, shrill, with a style. And with the way they throw fake bodies around as they're showing the filming of the film.
Yes.
I found it to be pretty funny myself because it was so ridiculously over the top. But the context that I enjoyed it in is if a bunch of, 13-year-olds got together and got a camcorder and decided to make a horror comedy movie, this is what it would be.
Great. Then get a bunch of 13-year-olds to do it. I'm sorry.
It's that level.
This is a rarity for me that I didn't, because most of them I can look at a film and say, I respect some part of this film, the cinematography, the dialogue, the acting, something. This one, half an hour into it, I'm just sitting there going, you're trying too hard. And not only are you trying too hard, you're trying too hard to try too hard. As goofy as that sounds. Anyway, yeah.
To be fair and to disclose, that majority of that 30 million was made overseas, and only a percentage, a few million, still a lot of money for this movie. From my understanding, looking at the numbers, maybe 4 to 5 million was made overseas, but still, to take a $25,000 movie that effectively is a junior high school poorly made horror comedy, and then it makes a few million. I have my theories on why it was so successful. Sometimes I think.
Why? So what? Just and I don't want to go over too much time, but Cynthia, what's a theory that you believe made this as successful as it was? Because I'd be interested to know.
I think there's a market for films that are intentionally bad, intentionally over the top, comedic bad. Would I recommend this for somebody? Yes, I would. I actually would, because, but I would qualify it as a terrible junior high school grade horror comedy. And if you view it from that context, and that it was a little bit too long, it could be significantly shorter, then yeah, I would say watch it to see how terrible it is and how intentionally terrible they are trying to be in making the movie.
Yeah, so if somebody asked, should I watch this? I would tell you no, 1,000 times no, 100 million times no. There's a lot better schlock out there. Go look at any one of these of the movies that we've talked about in the past. There was not one redeeming thing about this film that I actually enjoyed. And that says a lot, because I forgive a lot. I didn't like the cinematography. I didn't like the acting. I didn't like anything, unfortunately, about this film. And you know what? And maybe that's just me. And so sit down, watch it. But let's put money on the table. If you sit down and watch and you like it, let Cynthia know in the comments that you just love this. But if you thought this was just schlock, make fun of me. I don't care either. You can call me whatever you want down in the comments. But oh, good Lord.
I think you're, I'm not dismissing your perspective on it. I think they're valid. But I do want to tell my audience that the movie's bad because it's intended to be bad. It's a movie about terrible movie makers. I think that's the plot. That's what I would say the plot is. It's somebody portraying, and then it's really, does the audience want to see a movie about terrible movie makers making a terrible movie.
Watch a Transformer film and you're good to go.
At a higher budget. Okay, great. Once again, it's been fascinating. Love the conversation. Looking forward to next time, Scott.
Hey, Synthel, as always, I love our back and forth. I'll talk to you soon.